From Carolla One Studios in Glendale, California, this is the Adam Carolla Show. Adam's guest today, Brittany Furlan and Russell Peters. With Gina Grad on news, Paul Bryant on sound effects, and more March Madness madness. And now, earlier today, he screamed so loud about taxes, it dislodged that ship in the Suez Canal. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get on the show. But get it on. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for telling a friend. I love that about you. Right, Gina Grad?
That's right.
Handball, Brian?
They're not laughing. Move on.
Very pragmatic approach to comedy. I have a little tip for everybody from a health standpoint, from a pleasure standpoint, and from an aesthetic standpoint.
My.
I was talking to Dr. Drew when I was walking through my neighborhood yesterday. I was coming up on the local coffee house, so I stopped in to order what I normally order, which was, and by the way, everyone should go through life this way. I used to order, if I got a latte, I would probably get a skim milk latte or a light latte or something like that. And Dennis Prager was standing next to me once years ago, and he went, get the whole milk. It's a couple calories. It's a lot better. And, as we talked about with Vinny, that's not the stuff you got to worry about. So I started doing the whole milk latte, and I enjoyed it more. And then I was talking on the phone with Drew when I did the hold on, I got to order. And I ordered the whole milk latte, and Drew said, get the cream latte. Get the whole cream, the half and half latte.
Do you one better?
Yep. Yeah.
There you go.
Now, first things first, I didn't go, hey, man, this is the way I do my lattes. I went, thank you. Thank you, person who knows something that I don't know, who is simply suggesting it to improve a facet of my life. I did not circle the wagons. I did not take it as a threat. I simply...
The devil milk, you know.
Well, it's the
Go
funny...
down with the ship.
The funniest thing about telling people things like, hey, you should do it. The person is only telling you that because they believe it would bring something to your life.
Yes.
Right. It would enhance it.
It would improve it in some way.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes it's go ahead and go with the whole cream latte. Other times it's, hey, man, I think you've been drinking too much. But there's it's still an attempt at betterment for your life. So let's not get so persnippety about it or look at it as an attack. But anyway, I said thanks. So I got the whole milk latte, and I'll tell you the thing. Now we get to the aesthetic.
Sorry, did you get the whole milk or the cream?
Sorry, the cream. I got the cream, the whole cream latte.
That's the nuts, right?
That's what I got.
Yeah.
And here's a little added benefit. The little heart that the middle-aged guy made for the other middle-aged guy, the ostensibly straight middle-aged guy made with for the other straight middle-aged guy, the heart that he foamed into my top, my floater heart, stayed 200% longer.
Oh,
yes.
what a relief.
I sipped that thing all the way home, and when I got to my house, there was still a foam heart floating at the bottom.
The cream has structural integrity.
Yes.
It'll maintain its shape.
Absolutely. So not only do you get the flavor, you get the good fat, but you get the heart that lasts even longer.
It's a win-win-win-win because the cream has no sugar versus whole milk does have a little bit of sugar in it.
Oh, really?
Casein.
I didn't know that.
Look in the back of your milk.
Right, the higher the fat, the lower the sugar content, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, there you go.
Always go for the cream. When I eat my peanut butter, which Vinny advises against, I wash it down with half and half. I don't drink milk.
Wow.
Yes, I'm a devotee.
It's funny, all those things that we used to make fun of not too long ago, like in The Simpsons, or like that guy eats bacon and washes it down with cream, like these sort of fat guy tropes. They all kind of tend to be true now. Oh, speaking of that, Gina Grad.
Chris just handed me the half and half. Look at that, like 1 gram of sugar. There's none in there.
I demolished the goulash you'd sent over.
Good. Did you put the corn dumplings in, or did you skip them?
I I skipped the corn dumplings up until the point I was filming something last Friday. So I said, I'm going low carb until I'm done filming this thing. Then as soon as I got home from filming the thing, in went the corn dumplings, which are
good.
size of a ear pod case, basically.
Yeah.
Corn, not something
Cornmeal.
not something Laszlo Gorog would do, but good. And
good.
goulash, good.
Good. So I have questions about this because my friend Eden Botke, she does her little pop-up Hungarian shop called Eden's Hungarian. And I got the only choices were ground beef and vegetarian. So I got the vegetarian with big, like meaty mushrooms in it. They were unbelievable. And I got you the beef goulash. And I thought it was excellent. I mean, it was comfort food when I needed comfort food more than anything. But how did it compare to what you think of when you think of goulash?
Well, Laszlo Gorog's goulash, to me, was always the best because it was like the first meal you have when you get off the island, like Tom Hanks. You know what I mean? So I was on a hellish island known as the house my mom lived in, and it was a whole bunch of bouillon cubes and bay leaves. And then when I would show up at my grandpa's house once a week, he had a big kettle of hearty goodness waiting for me. And I was like, oh, this is good. I mean, he did it.
They say the best seasoning is starvation or hunger.
Right. So I was set up like a bowling pin by the time I got over there.
Right.
This was pretty damn close to what Laszlo would make, if memory serves. So go out there and get some goulash. It's like American beef stew plus. You know, it's a little something extra. It's kind of what
extra.
It's kind of like what Thai food is to Chinese foods. It's got a little more going on, but it's the same family. So
more dimension almost.
That was great.
And she gave me, I didn't give it to you because, I was grieving, but she gave me these beautiful salads, but also this unbelievable Hungarian hazelnut layer cake that was so incredible. It came in stages. Like first you're like, ooh, that's really sweet. And then you're like, ooh, that's really nutty. And then it was, do I just have coconut? Like it was delectable. Eden's Hungarian. Thank you, Eden.
Do not sleep on hazelnut, people. People always think of desserts. They think of cherries and fruits and things like that and creams and stuff. But the hazelnut.
It's delicious.
My Aunt Bougie used to bring over the dessert, and that was all the kind of coffee cake hazelnut stuff, too. They do it that way in Hungary. All right. So there's that. I had this weird... you guys help me with this. We're talking to Peter Facinelli yesterday, right? Mm-hmm. And I was looking down on one of his movies, and I think the actress Leslie Uggams was in it, who's a pretty famous black actress from way back in the day. And I was just kind of looking at her name on the sheet. I didn't say anything about it. And then I got home, and I turned on Love Boat, and the episode starred Leslie Uggams, which is not really why I'm bringing it up, but I thought that was kind of weird. But she played a blind woman, and there was a white man who was a cattle rancher who fell madly in love with her, even though she was a bitch the whole time. Oh. And at some point, they had the scene out on the railing, right? Now, the way Love Boat works is somebody shows up on the boat, male or female, then someone from the opposite sex pursues them wildly aggressively for no apparent reason. They fall in love and they say, I'm going to marry that woman. And then the person who's on the two-night trip, 3-day, 2-night, tells them, leave me alone. I want nothing to do with you. But this person will not listen, and they aggressively pursue them, which I would argue might ruin a short trip for a single woman.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Puts a pall over it.
Stalking.
Then at some point, about 40 minutes into the hour episode, the person ends up falling for the person who is aggressively pursuing them in a very short period of time. And then, with about 10 minutes left in the episode, they end up at the railing at night. And when they're standing at the railing, it's always one of them standing at the railing, and the other one walks up to them. And there's a little pushback at the beginning, and then there's a big sloppy kiss. But
room for one more at this railing.
yeah, that's how they do it. I've told you guys, and I told Drew I was going to set up a railing in my den, just so anytime I was feeling bad or forlorn or thinking about a girlfriend from high school, I'd just go gaze over the railing, and at some point there'd be a tap on my shoulder, and I'd turn around, and Don Porter would be there from high school.
Was Leslie Uggams the blind woman?
Yes.
She played the blind woman in Deadpool. That
was her.
Is she blind in real life?
I do not think so.
That's a weird coincidental casting.
I mean, she wasn't her entire acting life.
She did a kick-ass job of pretending to be blind, and I guess that was on her reel from 30 years
skills, ago. Fluent in French, can play blind.
So she was being blind, and then the rancher came up to her, and the rancher wanted to marry her. I don't know why he was obsessing over this black blind woman, but he was. And he looked Jewish, which is weird because it seemed he didn't look very it wasn't Slim Pickens or anything. And at some point at the railing, when he asked her to move on to the ranch with him, because that's how this shit would work. I mean, it was fast.
This was 36 hours on a boat.
Right. And by the way, 29 hours ago, she wanted nothing to do with him. Now she's agreeing to move, when they get back to port.
Sure.
She's moving on to the ranch with him. And they look at each other, and the stars and the moon are in the sky, and they hug. And I went, hug? They never hug at the railing. That's where the kiss comes in. I just saw Hasselhoff kiss Julie McCoy there an episode earlier, and then I realized, oh, she's black and he's white.
Oh,
and
network censors wouldn't allow that.
It's 1981.
Yeah.
And they were going to have them hug.
But not to shit on your point, but Lieutenant Huru, or whatever her name is, already did that with Shatner like 20 years before, 15 years before.
Yeah, but it takes place in the future.
Yeah.
Oh, in a different galaxy.
Zing.
That's right. That's not 1969, baby.
Okay.
That's
Good
2072.
Point. Got it.
So, by the way, it's all different standards. Whoever cares, network to network, like whatever. But I have never seen a couple consummate their love with a hug at that railing. And I was initially kind of bumped because it's 2020. I was like, why are they hugging? They always kiss during this part of Love Boat. And I realized the hug was the mixed race couple.
Mm-hmm. Jesus.
So there you go. And yeah, good pull with Leslie Uggams, who was in Deadpool.
Blind Al.
Blind Al.
Yeah, I wonder if there's any. I wonder if
I'm not seeing any sort of correlation.
There's no color. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like she maybe had a family member or something was blind. Anyway,
I'm wondering what Ernest T. Bigot thought of that hug. If he those are the salad days, maybe he calls those.
well, first off, I'm just saying.
Ernest Lee, yeah.
Ernest Lee Bigot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was going to throw the lady over the railing. I was initially excited, but turns out she's moving on to his ranch now.
Ernest, why would it make you happy that she would go, get deep sixed?
It's not the color of her skin; it's her disability. I mean, what if they hit an iceberg out in the Pacific there? On their way back from Ensenada. And
you're just asking.
I'm just asking. People scrambling to get on a lifeboat, and she's going in a circle, knocking people down.
So so it's more of a safety thing.
And then what if he takes her back to the ranch? I mean, what kind of cleaning lady is she going to be, blind and all?
I don't think she has to be a cleaning lady.
Well, Gina, why would a guy bring a black woman to a ranch?
You're just asking.
I'm just asking. Yeah. That's right. And then,
fair point.
What if they did, I don't want to call it half sex, but what if they mated? Then what?
They mated like you mate like animal husbandry?
Oh, I'm not marrying any animal, but so get that out of your head. No, I'm just asking, what if? What if they mate and then all the kids are blind? Or worse, black? I mean, come on. I'm just asking, use your brain.
You're right. I need to go think about this a little longer.
Yeah, she could
You should have
end
thought
up.
before you brought it up.
Yeah, it's
she
my
could end
mistake.
Back on that bar ranch over there with a whole bunch of kinfolk running around.
Gina brought up a good point, and it made me think. Like, so the Kirk and Uhura kiss on Star Trek was 1968, right? And this is 82 or 81 or whatever it is. Like,
Yeah.
In a bizarre way, do you think TV was more conservative, or the world, America, I should say, America was more conservative in 82 than they were in 68? I mean, not overall, but like that's on the heels of the Summer of Love. That's, late 60s. That it feels like maybe we turned the corner a tiny bit in the ensuing decade plus.
Yeah, it's a good thought. And
Reagan's in office.
yeah.
It's a different world.
Well, so what it is it's about. I mean, things aren't so different now, but it's about sort of signaling. So there are times when we are moving forward, and then there are times when we're sort of protecting the lead. Going into four corners. So
the water ebbs and flows.
Yeah, and they come off of each movement. So you go to the 60s, and it becomes this whole. Free, get nude, get high, get to the park, burn your bra, put a daisy into the rifle of the National Guardsmen, and this whole kind of wild hippie Woodstock, drug-addled, whatever. Then we get into this other era, and it starts to be about buttoning down. I mean, the 60s just came off of the 50s, pomade in the hair and dress shirts with you watch an episode of Bewitched, and then you watch an episode of MASH, and it's like it does. They're 4 years apart or something. It seems like they're 400 years apart. So in the late 70s and the early 80s, I think we were regressing. We're trying to button it down. We're trying to go, all right, no more of this kind of wild hippie shit. We're going to go, we're getting right into the preppy movement. We're going to pop some collars on an Izod shirt. And even I think, guys are going to wear penny loafers, and girls were getting saddle shoes and stuff. We're going back.
Televangelists are becoming huge.
Yeah, we were reeling it in. We were looking for a more innocent time. So, yes, what they were trying to do is push the boundaries in the late 60s. We're going to push up against this and see what we can do, or see how many people will clutch at their pearls. And then when we got to the late 70s, early 80s, we're like, we don't even have pearls. Where are our pearls? We want to get our pearls back. As a matter of fact, I was around during the the preppy movement. And the women were wearing pearls, and guys were wearing cardigan sweaters.
Over their shoulders tied.
Yes. I mean, it literally, we're just doing a 50s, full 50s throwback scene. All right. Good observation there, Bald.
Gina with you. Gina really inspired it.
Couldn't go any other way.
Good call, Bald. Good call, Bald. I like it.
Yeah. I don't know where it came from. Just sometimes things just come to me.
Am I muted? What's going on? I think I have bad connection.
Do we have, we got the beginning of March Madness. We ready to roll into that?
It's time again for a flurry of fury in March Madness. Let's recap yesterday's bittersweet 16 action. In the Pop Culture Conference, unlike on Hot Ones, DJ Khaled didn't tap out. He sent Little Miss Sunshine to shake her gunt out of the competition. In the Big Government Conference, Elizabeth Warren made a video of her drinking a beer to celebrate the victory over her round 2 competitor, who clearly wasn't a long hauler, Dr. Fauci. And in the Classics Conference, emotional support animals got served by waiters and tipping. Today, first up, it's the California Conference with LA's homeless problem versus Gavin Newsom.
Homeless. Well, let's get into the nomenclature over here, because I think that's part of the problem. It's not that you're homeless and you're not unhoused neighbors. You're fucking junkies and mental patients who are sleeping in your own flop on the sidewalk. This notion of, well, they're homeless. All right, well, that would suggest if you gave them a home, then they would flourish and rejoin society. sleeping on a sidewalk, it's sleeping on the ground, sleeping in a... the only time I've ever done it is when I passed out. I slept in my driveway once. It's because I was shit-faced and I fucking passed out from drinking too much Boone's Farm wine when I was 16 and a half years old. So how are we going to fix a problem when we can't label it properly? This is a drug problem. This is a mental illness problem. This is not a homeless problem. And I have no idea why politicians keep doing the face of homeless. The face of homeless, that's a mother of three who worked at the book bindery in South Compton for 31 years, and then one day she was out of work. Oh, she was out of work on a Friday, and then fucking Saturday she was picking out of a dumpster and sleeping on a sidewalk? Who do you know who's engaged in that? I've told everybody. My buddy Chris, his dad Rick, he had to go to prison. He wasn't homeless. He stayed on our fucking sofa in our apartment in North Hollywood for 3 weeks before he then left to prison. So don't give me this shit where you don't have a friend, you don't have a family member who does not have an extra futon, an extra sofa, or a place you could sofa surf or crash on. This is a mental problem. This is a drug problem. If you want to fix it, call it what the fuck it is. Gavin goddamn Newsom. Gavin Newsom. Well, what can we say that we haven't already said about Gavin Newsom? I'll tell you something we haven't already said about Gavin Newsom. Guess what Gavin Newsom calls his wife. He does not call her his wife. She's not the first lady of California. No, she's none of the above. She is the first partner. She's his partner. I got news for you. You know who has partners? Gay guys and fucking sheriffs. That's who has partners, Gavin. So, which is it? You gay? Or are you going to meet the Dalton boys at first light when the train pulls up? Jesus goddamn Christ. I know you're fucking progressive, but how about you decide to open the schools? How about you deal with the homeless problem? How about you deal with the garbage problem? How about you deal with the infrastructure? How about you deal with the fucking traffic? And then, if there's time left over, we can all recognize your first partner, the love of your life. She is not the first lady. She is the first partner. Get your fucking ass in gear. And I saw your tweet about 3 weeks ago, like, oh, COVID, oh, Texas, oh, mask laws, oh, restrictions, oh, letting citizens have their rights, or as you would call them, subjects. Well, bitch, it's been 19 days, and fucking Texas is doing fine, and my kids are home rotting in the room because you're up the ass of the fucking teachers' unions.
Both excellent, I think, Gina. I tend to lean when a new piece of information or a new angle to the rant is brought in, and I'd not ever heard first partner.
Oh, yes.
I had not heard that Newsom might be a gay sheriff. I'm leaning Newsom. I don't know about
gay or sheriff.
Oh, okay,
well,
sorry.
Either way, he rides at dawn. I think
Well
that the first one, of course, a classic for a reason. There's reason to be angry about that, both on behalf of people with homes and people without homes. But I gotta tend to agree with you when we're in this round and it's coming down to the wire. We need new information. We need a new energy. Right. And I agree with you. That was Gavin Newsom.
You know why? Because the tape exists on every team.
That's right.
They're going to play to your strengths. They're going to take
right.
away what you do best. You got to diversify your game.
Mm-hmm.
Gavin Newsom moves on.
Next up, a round from the Classics Conference. It's unrinsed coffee mugs versus Click It or Ticket.
Unrinsed coffee mugs. Everyone says to me, Adam, what are you obsessing for? What's the big obsession with the coffee mugs? Why don't you let it go? Or why don't you just hire someone to clean them? Or why don't you get it the fuck over with? I will tell you, it's a harbinger, an eerie harbinger of your lazy ass in this goddamn building. No, the coffee isn't that is not the point here. The point is can you follow instructions? Are you courteous and are you conscious? Are you awake? Do you have eyes for things that aren't your own? What about other people's shit? Because that's really what it is. It's a metaphor. It says I'm sleepwalking and I cannot carry out the wishes of the boss, but who's the boss anymore? There are no more bosses anymore. That's the whole thing. There's just a whole bunch of corporals in the same retarded army. I use it as a measuring stick. The great Van Halen, the great David Lee Roth and Eddie Van Halen, they wanted the green M&Ms on the rider, not because they taste different, not because they were lower in calorie, not because they enjoyed them more. They wanted to see if people were paying attention. Well, I say rinse out the coffee mugs, and none of you are paying attention.
Click it or ticket.
The waste, this informational waste. There's so much we could do with those goddamn signs up there. At this point, just sell them to fucking Gatorade. Just sell all those freeway electric signs to Pepsi and Gatorade and McDonald's, and we'll take all that fucking money and we'll use it to build a second lane, a second story on top of the 405 to ease traffic. Traffic is the number one problem in this city. You putting your seatbelt on has nothing to do with traffic. Obviously, if you've decided not to do it by now, you're never going to do it. But I was thinking to myself, I was driving down to PCH Boulevard the other day, and I thought, you know what we don't know? Here's some information we do not have. We have no idea how to turn right in this city. We don't know that you can turn right on a red. We don't know what the fuck to do when the red light is blinking. People don't turn right. On PCH, they have a lane. It's a merge lane. You can turn right and not go into traffic. People don't even use the fucking gutter for losers so you can merge into the traffic. Then I honk from 5 cars back, and the asshole in front of me goes, what do you want me to do? Honk at the person in front of him. What if we took all those signs, all the electronic freeway signs, got rid of click it or ticket, got rid of let the force be with you on Star Wars Day and all the other fucking pablum and nonsense, and just gave a fucking tutorial just on turning right. Just on turning right on this city. Just what it would mean to turn right. We could alleviate traffic by 98%.
Wow.
Inspired.
It's the bittersweet 16 for a reason. These are tough competitors. I liked referring to the right lane as the gutter for losers. That was inspired. Again, though, more of the rant was about the traffic than about the actual signs. I liked the coffee mug as a referendum on you as a functioning adult. What do you say, Gina?
Brian, I couldn't agree more. By the end of the rant, I was taken on a journey and I liked where I went, but I couldn't remember what the original subject was supposed to be because we went like the freeway in so many lanes at once. But the first one, in my head, I was hoping he was going to bring up the Van Halen rider, and he did. I coach everybody up in this house. I run a tight ship because Adam runs a tight ship when we're there. I say coffee mugs as well.
Coffee mugs, agreed.
You can get your bracket at adamcarolla.com and tune in tomorrow for more bittersweet 16 action as the big rants rolls on in March Madness.
Wonderful summary, you two. And Gina, I feel guilty about the Star Trek thing that I thought Brian was talking about.
Thank you.
Why? How did I mishear that? What I
At
do?
the beginning, I said not to shit on Brian's point, but Uhuru already made out with Shatner, 15 years before, and we said, okay, maybe, but that was a different galaxy and millions of years in the future. But then something clicked with Brian. He did a little research on it while we were talking about it.
But yeah, it was a good point, but I'm still referring to Brian's point, which is pushing the boundaries versus reeling it in. So, okay.
It was Gina's initial point for sure.
Yes, that's for sure.
I'm so glad
the
we circled
assertion
back.
68 was different than 82.
All right. Let me hit Simply Safe here. If you got 30 minutes, you never have to worry about home break-ins ever again. That's how quick you can set up your security system from Simply Safe. So easy to do. You can do it while you're watching TV or maybe listening to this podcast. We all use it here. And the good news is, if you're like Dawson and you move out of that apartment and you move into a home, you just take it with you because it's all peel and stick. So just go to simplysafe.com/am. Choose the exact sensors you need. Get help from one of their experts. It'll get you it'll get to your house in about a week, and then you just set it up. You can do it again in under an hour. Go to Simply Safe, 2 I's in there, simplysafe.com/Adam. Today, customize your system and get a free security camera as well with one of our finest, longest running sponsors. That is simplysafe.com/Adam. All right, let's see. Brittany Furlan is going to join us. She's, of course, famously married to Tommy Lee and has a series out. We'll talk to her about that, and we'll do that right after this.
And now, a tip from the 1965 issue of Good Housekeeping. 120 Ways to Please a Man.
Having to watch a woman clean house can make a man as uncomfortable as seeing her in rollers or face cream. Try to schedule your chores so as many as possible are done when he's not around to be a captive audience.
Just one of 120 ways to please a man. Now back to the Adam Carolla Show.
I like watching women clean.
Oh,
I'll stay
you
in
take
my
that into consideration.
I'll stay in my hotel room and just stand on the bed when the maids just do their business.
That's so awkward.
Just pants around my ankles, just taking it all in. Good to see you, Brittany.
Good to see you again. How's it going?
I'm doing well. Of course, I'm gonna talk about your show, but I'm also gonna have to follow up about the swimming pool as well.
Yes.
Paradise City is the name of the show. It's available now on Amazon Prime. It is a good show, and it is good looking too. I watched the first episode today before I came in. Bella Thorne's in this, and Olivia Colpo, and lots of good names, and Brittany as well. It looks like they had a pretty good budget for this, or maybe.
Oh my God.
Was it?
Really good. I don't know how, but it was like, all I know is just all the locations were crazy. The music's crazy. Like there's great music in it. And it's just kind of insane how they were able to do that.
How you doing over there? What'd you guys do? Shoot this before COVID or during, or how'd you do it?
We shot it like 2 years ago. Oh, sorry.
Easy, buddy. Easy.
And
sorry about that. No, shh, we're doing a podcast. You have no podcast etiquette. Would you get it together? This is Nina Dewena. Do you remember her? Hey,
No.
saying hi? No, you don't. Oh, she came with me last time. No.
Oh, I probably do.
Quiet. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Blocked it out of my mind. You know what? This is, I think, my greatest argument for a big dog. You can't take them anywhere.
Why is that a good thing? Don't you want to have your companion with you?
You do, but no one else does. So I'm saying it's good for society, is what I'm saying. It's a societal move. My dog is 110 pounds and I can barely get him into my car.
What kind of dog is it?
His name is Phil, and he's a black lab, and he's big as a house, and he can go nowhere. No public transportation, no podcast, no anything. Once in a blue moon, I'll bring him in here because he delights the kids.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, Brittany, now you let's see. You suffer from anxiety. Mm-hmm. How's that going?
Going really well, actually. It's so funny. The cold plunge I did for like a couple days, and then I got like a cold because it was so cold in the morning. And then I was and then like COVID was happening, and then I couldn't tell if it was like COVID or if I got sick from the cold plunge. So I was like, okay, never mind, not doing that anymore. So then I started doing EMDR therapy, and that kind of like changed the game for me. I haven't had like really bad anxiety since then.
Do you do it with the vibrating pulses?
I haven't been able to go in because of COVID. Mm-hmm. So we do it over Zoom, and there's this website called EMDR Remote where you kind of follow like this little ball with your eyes.
Interesting.
And so you go back and forth with this little ball with your eyes.
Well, I could just give you a layman's, and Brittany, please tell me if I'm wrong, but I think what it does for your brain is kind of signal to your brain that you're replicating a REM sleep, so you can go a little bit deeper into your subconscious while you're talking.
Yeah, it basically like kind of puts you in a trance, and you go back to your trauma and you revisit it, and you reassure yourself in that situation that you're okay now. Everything's cool, no need to freak out, and then it kind of just heals you slowly.
So do you do it every morning?
You don't do it every morning. I do it twice a week. So I have a EMDR coach that I get on Zoom with, and I go with her twice a week. And then the weird thing is like, even when you think you're done and like everything's good and you don't need to do it anymore, like you just need to continue, because that's the thing. Like once you start feeling better, then it's like you just keep going because you're having success with it. But it is really weird. It takes a lot out of you. Like you leave the sessions very exhausted because you're going back to some of the most intense times of your life and reliving them so that now you can tell yourself, like, I made it through that. You're fine. You're safe. Everything's good. It's really, really weird, but it works.
The pool, by the way, does not make you sick. So let's dispel that notion. Cold
I know,
doesn't give you a cold.
Cold doesn't make it. It's so weird. But like when I like did it, I like got like a sore throat, and then I was like not feeling good, and I was like, oh God. And I like went and got a COVID test. I was negative, but yeah, I was so paranoid. I was like, oh God.
Now, did you really get all the way into your pool?
I didn't go under my hair because I didn't want to blow dry my hair, but I jumped in.
You jumped in, but you didn't get your hair wet? Interesting. All right. We'll continue to work on it.
Thank you, Dr. Carolla.
Did, some woman sent me and Drew a video of her. She said she moved to Minnesota and she just walked right down a snowy embankment, walked right into the freezing river and dunked herself and came out. And then I think TikTok took it off because it said it was too dangerous. But,
oh my God.
But so what's it like? Are you cooped up with Tommy? What's that experience like?
He says hi, by the way.
I love that guy. He
loves you.
He's a big man child.
He's a child. It's like being trapped with like a 5-year-old. Okay, so he's been so bored because of COVID. So now he's obsessed with bonsai plants. And he's bought it's like randomly, he bought like 30 bonsai trees, and they're just all over, like little ones. And he just every day checking the water, trimming them. Like I call him Mr. Miyagi instead of like Mr. Miyagi, because he's literally out there like, oh, I'm like, what the hell? Where did this come from? And all of a sudden now there's hundreds of bonsai trees, and every day he's getting more. And I'm like, all right.
Well, it's so random because I was driving home from Malibu a couple days ago. And if you drive through the canyons...
Oh, yeah, there's the bonsai guy.
Yeah, they sell... Yeah. There's 2 things you can buy. Coconuts with coconut water in them, fruit, and then bonsai plants.
Yeah.
And it's a weird roadside item. Like, I definitely get I get the ghetto dog and the street taco and all that stuff. It's weird... It's a weird impulse buy, right? A bonsai tree. Like I'm driving back from Malibu to the valley. What's missing in my life? Like, but that's where they sell
bonsai
them.
Tree. Yeah, exactly.
Adam, just so you know, right in front of the Johns on Laurel, they also sell bonsai trees out of a pickup truck.
Really?
Yeah.
They're not
doing
cheap.
that forever.
They're expensive. They're like $200.
Really?
Per tree?
Oh yeah.
Yes, it's not like a cheap impulse buy. Like these things take a while to grow. Like you're gonna pull over and be like, yeah, let me drop $300 on this freaking 15-year-old tree. Like that's gonna probably die if I don't research how to take care of it. It's kind of crazy.
I don't know even what the process is other than they look. I mean, the thing about a bonsai tree is it looks like a big sequoia or an oak tree or something, but it's 14 inches high. Right.
Exactly.
And it's kind of a cool look. It kind of stays, you got the miniature dog. I feel like you should take the miniature tree with you when you come to the studio next. You should have the bonsai tree and the dog.
My emotional support tree.
Yeah.
It's so funny because they actually like the bonsai trees are so complicated to take care of. Like you can't bring it inside. So you're spending all this money on a fucking tree that you can't even bring inside to like show people. They have to come outside to see the tree because it dies if you bring it inside. Mm-hmm. You have to check the water every day. You have to water it like the perfect amount, not too much, not too little, or it dies. Like they're so sensitive. It's fucking weird.
I can't figure out if the bonsai tree is the opposite of rock and roll or the ultimate in rock and roll. Like
it's the opposite.
You think it's the opposite?
It's the opposite. Because my husband used to be able to do whatever the hell he wanted and for some reason was able to live. But now it's like he has this like precarious little tree that like you have to be so careful, like not too much water, not too much sun, not too little sun. Like it's so fucking weird, man. He's so psycho with it. There's like literally 30 around our pool. I'm like, well, it could be meth, so I'm glad it's the trees. You know?
Well, here's what my understanding from working with Dr. Drew for as long as I have, that people that have kind of an addictive personality, once they get away from, snorting ants with Ozzy, they turn toward other things. Sometimes it's skydiving, sometimes it's like free climbing, occasionally it's a bonsai garden, but it's good. It's good. It's better than, climbing into a bottle, right?
Exactly. So I was like, all right, he can have this, but it's getting kind of out of control. Like I'm about to call my strange addiction because we just have them all around our pool. I'm like, do you need this many? Like 30 is kind of intense, It started with 1 or 2.
Does he head down to Las Virgenes Canyon to pick up his trees, or does he?
No, he orders some online for hundreds of dollars from Bonsai Palace or wherever the hell.com, where they grow them and they ship them to you in these huge boxes. And he goes there's a few random bonsai nurseries, and we'll go there and he'll be spending hours looking at the perfect tree. And I'm like, oh my God, how is this fun? This is so boring. This is the boringest thing ever. You're sitting there look at these leaves. Look at I don't think it's fun, but he loves it.
I have a question.
Yeah.
This tree that cannot get too much sun or too little, or too much water or too little, can be shipped in a box?
That's what I'm fucking saying, man. It's so fucking weird. It doesn't make sense. It's it comes with all these instructions. It needs special soil. It needs the perfect amount of everything, and then they send it in a fucking box. I guess
a gremlin.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't get it. Anyway.
It's taking me back when I was a kid. There was a little nursery hardware store called Stevens Nursery that was in North Hollywood. And I didn't have any money, but I was always bored off my ass. And I'd go over there, and they had bonsai trees, and they also had those Venus flytraps. If you put your finger in it, the thing would start to close. Yeah, it didn't really snap on your finger, but it would slowly close. And I think maybe they had these weird little coffee cups, these little cardboard coffee cups with holes poked in them that had a praying mantis in them that they would sell too. And my childhood was so devoid of entertainment that I would just go over there as a 9-year-old and be like, oh, I'm going to stare at a small tree.
You would just stare at the trees?
Well, I couldn't afford anything. And the Carollas aren't, we're not in that bonsai bracket like you guys are. We were in a bonsai tax bracket. My dad didn't have a lot of gold records. So I would just go look at, and the notion of buying a bonsai plant, back then it would have been $63. That would have been an unthinkable amount of money for
that's like a car.
Something that did nothing. Yeah, my mom could have got half her Dodge Dart for $63. So this is very interesting that Tommy's into the bonsai. Are they?
Yeah, he loves it.
Are they making plans to tour? I can't. Texas is open and Florida's open and Arizona's open. Other places are opening. I'm kind of in a scaled down version of Tommy's life. I'm always talking to my guys about where can we go or what can we do. Are they working? Is there going to be a plan for 2021?
I mean, they're supposed to. I don't know. They'll email us and be like, yeah, it's going to happen. And then they'll be like, actually, there's a new strain and we have to be careful and blah, blah, blah. And then we hear that people getting the vaccine are still getting COVID. And it's kind of crazy. Because, we get a little bit of insider news just because obviously they have to know, they have to talk to whoever in charge of the health department that allows you to have a tour, tells them what's going on. And apparently people that are getting vaccinated are still getting COVID. So people with both vaccines, people are still getting it.
Did you get vaccinated?
No, I'm kind of paranoid. I'm obviously I'm a very paranoid person, and I know it's been out for a while and they've been studying this vaccine for a long time. I'm just a little nervous. My parents both got it and they both got really sick for a week and a half. They're fine now, but I was
well, here's an interesting paranoid person thought.
Yeah.
Because I think the healthiest, here's what I always say. the best place to be in your life, in your headspace, is kind of neutral. Like when the phone rings, I always use this as an example. And the phone rings, if you like dive on it going, oh, I'm so lonely, who's calling me? That's bad. And if you just stare at it, like, I'm not going to pick that up, I made too many enemies, you know what I mean? But if you just, with no thoughts, answer the phone, that means you're in a good neutral space. So I'm gonna apply that to vaccines, which is if you should have no thoughts. Your best headspace would be, I'll get the vaccine whenever they tell me to get the vaccine, because some people are paranoid about COVID and want to hop the line for the vaccine, and then other people are paranoid about the vaccines, and I don't. It's not the same person, but it's the same mindset, I think.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I'm, like I said, it's not even available. I'm 35, so it's like not even available to me yet. I've had girlfriends who are my age who have hopped the line, and I just think that's not cool for other people that need it, you know, but whatever, if it's available, get it. But I'm not chasing it. I'm not like, let me get it. Fuck. You know, I also don't leave my house. So it's not like I'm, you know, coughing on people and getting close to people, and like, I'm not really going anywhere, so I'm not really near anyone to, you know, be at risk right now. So.
It strikes me that Staying Home with Tommy Lee, which would be a great reality show.
I try to tell him that. He's like, I'm not doing it. I'm like, it'd be so funny because he's so fucking hilarious. Like, just the shit he does and the shit he's into, people will be like, what? Like, it's just so, like, he loves cooking. He cooks for me every night. And
really?
And he's like my mom. Like, it's so fucking weird, dude. Like, it'll be like around 3:00, right? He's about to come in here now, I'm sure, and go, hey, we didn't plan what we're going to have for dinner.
What, and so
like,
I want to know what his specialties are. It sounds, Home with Tommy Lee sounds good for 3 days, but at a certain point, back up the tour bus. You know what I mean? Is that an accurate statement?
It's totally accurate, because he's like, I don't get what it is, but I don't know if it's because he's a Libra or what, but everything has to be planned out. Like, everything has to be figured out. Like, dinner has to be figured out. When we go on trips have to be figured out to the T. Like, he can't just kind of fly by the seat of his pants. Like, I was like, oh, there's some food, and like, there's tons of food in the fridge. We'll just put something together. He's like, no. We need to like figure out what we're having. We need to like plan it. Like, it needs to be like, what are we having? You know what I mean? I'm like, why can't we just like randomly eat some stuff? Like, you have some chicken, I have this. He's like, no. It needs to be like dinner every night.
What's his specialty?
It's kind of cute, but it's also annoying because like, I don't really like eating that much. I'm trying to, you know, stay on that Hollywood actress diet where I eat like water and fucking ice cubes. You know what I mean? And he's all like, have mashed potatoes. And I'm like, fuck you. Like, I've literally gained 15 pounds in this relationship because he feeds me. And I'm like, ugh.
Oh, and he's one of those people that can't get fat, right?
No, he's one of those fucking people that just doesn't gain weight. He could eat, like, he'll wake up in the middle of the night and be like, I want gummy bears, and eat like the whole fucking bag. Meanwhile, if I look at a gummy bear, like, my thighs just expand like 12 inches. Like, it's so fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get it, Adam. You get it, right?
No, that's my wife's the same way. Like, just eats whatever, doesn't matter, and they bring it all home, and then they think something's wrong with you. You know, they're like, well, have more Chicago style pizza, and you're like, it's 4 a.m. I can't do that. I don't have your metabolism. What's wrong? You look fine. Like, they just give you the food.
Yeah, and then he told me the other day, I was like in my bathing suit, and he goes, honey, were you sitting on rocks? Because I fucking cellulite, and I was like, I'm gonna kill myself. He was like, there's little dimples on your butt, and I was like, it's called fucking cellulite from all the fucking Greek food and potatoes you've been feeding me.
Well, he does have a mouth of babes. It smells like cigarettes, but it's a mouth of babes. If you're in your bathing suit, that means you're somewhere near the pool. And if he asks if you've been sitting on gravel, that's the time to kick one of those bonsai plants into the pool.
Yeah. Warning shot.
That's
your
move.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, you motherfucker. I was like, I am so mad. Yeah, it's not cool, but you know.
but I do have an honest, an honest question.
Yeah.
Tommy is a man child and as sincere a person as I've ever met. Like, he has that wiring. He has a very childlike, not immature, but childlike in a wonderment. You know what I mean? And like, I remember when I was a kid, I was probably about 12, 13 years old. I was at my friend's house, and he had a younger brother. and his younger brother was like 6. And they had this big fat maid who came over to clean the house. And at some point she sat down and the kid was like, Anna, don't sit on the chair. You'll break it. Now, that's what 6-year-olds say, but but it's also what we're all thinking. We're just nobody says it. So living with Tommy Lee, that could be, you get a lot of straight dope coming at you.
So much straight dope. Like literally, I've done my makeup before where how like girls contour, I don't know if you know that. I don't know if your wife does it, but we use contour, you know what I'm saying? We use the brown and we contour our faces.
You highlight, you shade.
You do whatever. You try to shape shift. You try to be not who you are. Exactly right with makeup. So I'm using contour and I guess the lighting in the bathroom was kind of darker. And so I didn't really see it. We were in a rush and we're running out the door and my husband goes, babe, why do you have dirt on your face?
Oh.
He's like, you got dirt. Let me just, and he starts smearing my fucking
lick his thumb.
But
I'm literally, but that's him being in it. Like he is innocent. I mean, I don't know about the rocks comment, but yeah, he is innocent for the most part. Yeah.
Well, then that begs the bigger question. Like, is this a good thing? Like, look, if he's seeing it, so's everyone else. I mean, if he's thinking it, that's what he's thinking.
No, it's true. It keeps me on my toes. I'm like, fuck, Jesus. All right. It's kind of crazy.
So does he really cook a meal? Does he really get into it?
Yeah, he'll look up a recipe at the beginning of the day. First of all, I don't know how the fuck this man has the energy that he has. He's 58 years old. He wakes up at 8 a.m. every day or 6 a.m. sometimes, goes to bed at like 12. So he's like up wide awake at 6 a.m., living his life, getting around, doing stuff. I'm like, I need like 13 hours of sleep a night. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I love sleeping. And he's up, he's fucking looking up recipes. He'll be texting me. I wake up to 30 text messages. He'll be like, what do you think of this recipe? The lamb with the da-da-da-da. I'm like, oh my God. Like he just does it all morning. That's what he does. His search history, how you go in most men's search history and it's like, oh, porn, or it's like, whatever. They're looking up fucking weird shit, cars. My husband's search history is like recipes.com. I'm like, this is the most uncool search history I've ever
rock and roll.
Yeah.
So
it's like Martha Stewart's recommended fucking butter toast. Like,
I don't have your husband's metabolism in any way, shape,
Neither
or form.
do I.
I do have his morning routine. So, if he's thinking about maybe like some, Greek lemon chicken or whatever, we should start some sort of a text chain because that's what I'm doing all morning too. I love that shit. I don't want him to feel alone.
Wow, you guys should date. You look kind of like Maite too. You look like his ex fiance. Dead. But yeah, no, I mean we're on total opposite schedules. I'm like a night owl. I like thrive at night. I'll stay up till like 3 a.m. and then he's like up at the ass crack of dawn looking up, how to make souvlaki or whatever. I don't know.
What are you doing at night?
Just being manic.
Are you like watching shows and drinking wine? Like what are you doing?
I don't drink, so I don't do any drugs. I'm just naturally fucking insane. I just reorganize my socks. Like I'll be like, you know what? I need to have my sock drawer organized. I'll just do random manic shit. I'll go through my entire wardrobe and decide what clothes I don't want anymore. I'll reorganize my shoes. I'll reorganize my makeup. I just do anything organizational at like 3 a.m. That's like my peak time. That's like my functional time.
Yeah, it's interesting, the rhythms of people. I always had this thought that my problem, I used to stay up late because I had a job where I didn't come home until 12:30 at night. So it was always weird. It was always weird coming home at 12:30. And then everyone would always go, well, just go to bed the second you get home. And then I would always go, what time do you get home from work? And they go, about 5 o'clock. And I go, how about you go to bed at 5:30?
Yeah, exactly.
I couldn't do it. And I go, that's right, because that's my schedule. On the other hand, I always feel like anything past 10 p.m., nothing good ever comes from that. You're always eating something you shouldn't eat or drinking something you shouldn't drink or watching some mindless TV show. Like it became kind of wasteful. But lately I've realized, because I would go to bed earlier and now get up earlier, I can waste a fuckload of time in the morning too. Like I can just have my coffee and putz around in my bathrobe. It's tough getting out of that bathrobe.
But it's tough getting out of bed. Like bed is so comfortable. Like sleeping is so nice because it's like being dead without the commitment. You know what I mean? Like you just get to be asleep and you're like, oh, I'm not dead, but I'm not here either. So it's like kind of a win-win. You know what I mean?
I feel the same way. Like people go, you can sleep when you're dead. I'm like, I'm not going to take any chances.
Yeah, like it's like not sleep when you're dead because you don't know you can wake up and eat a cheesesteak and then go back to sleep. You know, like I still enjoy little things of life, but fuck, sleeping's a top for me.
Yeah, I don't think that's technically true. You can sleep when you're dead. I think
you're dead when you're dead.
I think people say that like they go, shit rolls downhill. I'm like, you ever shit on a dirt hill? Not really. It gathers a lot of acorns and pine needles.
Yeah, exactly.
So you guys are basically, well, first off, how do you survive? Is it royalties? Like where's the income for you and Tommy?
Okay. So, well, Tommy's obviously a multimillionaire, so that's great, but, I'm all good for him anyway. So I'm not, I get royalties from stuff that I've done. I have a podcast, Worst First, which is, a fun thing I want to have you on.
Sure.
Where I talk about people's worst experiences in life, whether they're like funny or whatever, or sad or hilarious. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Well, we should
really
talk
fun.
About that.
Yeah. It's a great podcast. It's called Worst First. Yeah.
It's available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does everyone have a worst day of their lives? I mean,
everyone. I mean, it started out as worst dates because I started the podcast because when I was single and I started going on so many bad dates, I was like worst first dates. So I would tell stories from all the dates I went on, and then, obviously it was only so many dates, and then I got married. It's not dates anymore. And then so I started having people on, and they were telling me about dates, and then some people have never had a bad date. I'm like, liars.
Yeah.
Like people come on my podcast and be like, I've never had a bad date. I'm like, oh, okay, Angel, really?
Some people have amnesia. And if you didn't have a bad date, you were the bad date.
Yes.
Exactly. Like I've had so many people because it started as worst first dates, but I didn't call it worst first dates. It was just worst first. But I had too many people coming on going, well, I didn't have a really bad date. And I'm like, well, did you ever go on a date, you fucking nerd? Like, what? Like you had to have a bad one, One of them's going to suck. They're not all good, So then it started, it transgressed into worst first whatever, worst first job, worst first death experience. I've had girls on my podcast who have died come back to life and talk about dying. I've had, celebrities like Machine Gun Kelly on. Worst first experience with him was, it's actually so funny. You have to watch his episode. He had a girl over and they were in bed and he was fucking her from behind. And he went to the bathroom, and when he got up,
then and there?
No. When he was done, he went to the bathroom and he came back and it was dark, but he saw her throw something and then get back in bed. And he was like, that's weird. And then the next day he woke up and his room smelled like shit. And he was looking all around his room and he's like, he could not find the shit anywhere. He's like, it smells so bad. The room, it went on for days. The room just really just churning in the smell of shit. He's searching everywhere. Finally, he goes and looks in his backpack that was in the corner, and inside the fucking backpack is a shit. The girl shit and got so freaked out, she threw it and it landed in his fucking open backpack in the corner of the room.
Well, yeah. Wait, that's a bad first date or just a bad outing?
That's a worst first time.
Wow.
Fucking a girl from behind, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Don't get fucked in the ass if you have to shit. Like that's just a normal.
Hold on. Where's my
steno Yeah, take
pad?
a note, Adam.
I got kids. I want to share wisdom with them. Hold on. It's okay. Don't. Okay, I'm going to underline that. Well, so when you say fucking from behind, I don't necessarily always think of that as anal
fucking
sex.
in the ass. I mean, anal sex, whatever. Yeah. So. Yeah, so like, apparently, it's like, how do you not know that? That's kind of crazy.
Well, listen, I'm no lady, but I'm going to say perhaps there was some alcohol involved with this, perhaps this isn't a noon on a Wednesday sober activity. Machine Gun Kelly drilling you in the turd cutter.
This is no afternoon delight.
Right. Yeah.
There's no skyrockets.
This is the street lights have been on for a long time, and you've definitely had a few spiked seltzers.
I can make this. I can
Yeah.
make Italian.
We're hearing something. I don't know. What
I'm
we're
hearing stuff. What's going on?
And then my husband just.
I'm hearing myself on playback.
Placating
Me too.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Somebody's playing something through the Zoom right now,
Uh-oh.
or it's coming up on this computer.
I didn't touch anything.
I honestly, I think as a stand-up comedian.
See, I'll mute it.
Fine. All right.
I'll mute, but I only have one button for everybody, so it's coming through either that computer or the Zoom. We'll figure it out.
That's a first, right?
Yes.
Everyone take
But
off
it's
your,
a worse
take
first
off your
Zoom.
headphones. Is your phone playing anything? Your laptop speakers?
I don't have my phone in the room with me.
Brittany, does it sound like your podcast?
No.
Sounds like her voice.
Yeah, I thought it was.
And it is
not this guy.
And it is entertaining. So
Oh
it
my
could be
God.
Brittany.
Is it my podcast? It is my podcast. Wait a minute. What is happening? Holy shit. I don't know why that's happening. What do I do?
Holy shit was the name of the episode with Machine Gun Kelly in it.
No, it's not that. Hang on. Guys, I don't know what's going on for
Okay,
real.
if you can hit Alt Tab
Alt tab.
until
Tab?
you discover which
Wait.
player is playing.
This is giving me anxiety.
I knew that was a bad
How do I
idea.
do it?
Well, hold on a second. First off, if bonsai trees give you anxiety, anything can give you anxiety because those are
Wait,
meant
guys,
to
I'm
soothe.
so sorry. I don't know why my podcast is
Well-
randomly playing. How do I stop
I think it
sounds
stopped.
like
it? I don't know what to do.
But we were about to wrap it up anyway because Russell Peters is calling
I'm so
it now.
sorry. This
That's
is
all
fucking
right.
weird. Oh, I found it.
That's
Oh
fine.
my God. That was so random. It just started playing.
That's okay.
Wow, way to ruin your whole podcast. Here's my
No.
worst first time doing a podcast.
Gotta get your plugs in.
Oh, no, I don't know what happened. That was very fucking weird. It just started playing in the corner.
Well, speaking
Okay,
of
sorry.
plugs, Paradise City
Well,
available
there's-
now on Amazon Prime Video, and the podcast Worst First with Brittany Furlan as well. And I hope to be on soon, Brittany.
You have to. I'm so sorry about that, you guys. That's
That's
never
all right.
happened to me. This house is haunted, by the way. There's spirits in here. I'm glad we're leaving.
Spirits that kick computers when you're leaning back in your chair laughing.
I didn't touch anything. I swear to God, I was just sitting here.
Check
My
the
bad.
tape. All right, Russell Peters is waiting in the waiting room. Brittany,
Okay, yeah,
always,
he's a better guest. I'll see you guys.
always great to talk to you, my dear.
Bye,
Get in that
Adam.
pool. Give Tommy. I don't think he kisses. Give him a lick from me.
I'll give him a reach around for you.
Give him a reach around
there
and
you
a
go.
cheek lick. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let me hit Geico and then we'll bring in Russell.
Bye, guys.
Do you rent your home? Well, yeah, you do one or the other, right? And then there is your insurance. Well, there's your automotive policy. How about you take your automotive policy and you bundle it up with either renters or homeowners insurance, and Geico can help you do that. It's a good thing, too, because they already have so much to do around the house. Just go to geico.com, get a quote, see just how much you could save when you bundle with geico.com. All right, Russell Peters, friend, comedian, is waiting in the wings. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. Yeah? You want to say something, Max Spada?
No.
He leaned in. We'll talk to Russell right after this.
It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Yo, Ace Man, get it on. Hey, I'm in my hot tub listening to the White Album before it gets canceled. Gotta go.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
Great Russell Peters has joined us. Culturally Canceled, available now. That's the podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And also the stand-up special, Russell Peters Deported. That's available on Amazon Prime Video. Good to see you, Russell.
What's up, Adam? I feel like it's been almost a week since I've seen you in human person.
Yeah, we saw each other at a, makeshift, I don't know what these clubs are called, these outdoor
It was
clubs.
Some sort of makeshift patio show we did.
Yeah, so the stand-up comedy in Los Angeles doesn't exist. I mean, the Improv's been closed. I guess the Comedy Store. I want to ask you about that, the Laugh Factory. And so they started doing these patio-type shows. They found these buildings that had there's a real science to it. If it doesn't have a roof, then you can tell jokes in it. If it does have a roof, well, then, of course, we're all going to die. So I saw Russell last Tuesday over there. Where were we? Yeah.
Last Tuesday.
The Parlor, I think it was called. What do you know about the Comedy Store and the Improv and these legendary landmark comedy clubs?
I don't know, dude. I've been on the road like crazy. So like I just flew. I'm in Toronto right now. I have to quarantine for 14 days here.
Oh, really? You're back home, I guess I would say. We're not home, but...
Yeah, I mean, it's, I haven't been here in over a year, but so I'm doing this TV thing and it's a 4-day commitment, but you gotta quarantine for 14. So the commitment's really 20 days now, so.
Can you leave your room, or have they lightened that up a little bit?
No, you're not supposed to leave your room. I left it earlier because my mom was quarantining in the room beside me. And then once you get, so here's how it works is you got to do this like government, you do the test as soon as you land, and then you got to go into a government hotel, hotel that the government approved. And then you have to pay for it though. It's not like they're paying for it. You got to pay for your own room. And then you're supposed to book it for 3 days because that's how long they said the test could take. So they get you for that. So you pay for the 3 days. So if you check out after a day, that's on you. You lose the extra 2 days.
So you pay.
So my mom.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah. You pay for the hotel. You get tested when you land. Sorry, continue.
So they test you, you pay for your hotel, and then you wait for your results. And then my mom got her results back early this morning. So she went back to her house now. She's allowed to go to her house.
Is she in Toronto?
Yeah, she's in Toronto. So she's got to quarantine in her house now.
But her test was negative?
Correct.
Oh.
And she's vaccinated.
Oh, God damn. I got to tell you. Canada, look, you can describe it as better or worse. I will describe it as Canada is worse than the United States in terms of progressive whatever. I mean, whatever Gavin Newsom is, they've taken it a step further in that department. I don't know. Are there parts of, well, this is interesting being from Canada. Do you guys have a equivalent of Texas and Florida and Arizona there?
We don't. I mean, we have our versions of it, but it's not like the same. Like Calgary considers itself to be like the Texas because they have cowboys and oil and beef.
Right.
So Alberta, the state of Alberta is like Texas, but not at all like Texas.
So your mom has been vaccinated and she's tested negative, and she still has to quarantine for 14 days?
Well, it gets better. You gotta test 48 hours before you fly to Toronto too.
Oh, really?
And you have to have that test to show when you land. Then when you land, they give you another test.
Wow.
Yeah, they're ODing as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, no, it's basically, here we have sort of red states and blue states, and the blue states are locked down, in the red states, that's where we go to do comedy. But
that's where I've been going.
Canada just sounds like one big blue state, so I don't know how that works.
It's blue balls over here.
So this must have been a TV show you really wanted to do, I'm guessing, if you want to talk about it.
I'm the lead judge on Roast Battle Canada.
Oh, really?
Ooh, worth it.
Yeah, and they got some good money behind it. So I'm like, you know what? I'll do this.
So are will you be able to quarantine? Are you at your family home now? Then I guess is the question.
No, I'm at a what's the one that gives I'm at a DoubleTree.
Oh, okay. Because you said your mom was in the room next to you for a second. I thought
she was in the room next to me because we have to each your own room. And so as soon as she got her clearance, I told her, and then I called a car and sent her home. And now when I'm done, when I get my results back, which will be negative because they were fucking negative 2 days ago, then I will go to a different hotel.
Oh, you can't go to your family home at that point?
Well, I can't. I don't want to stay in my mom's house.
Yeah, I get it.
You know, and then I don't own a home here anymore. I sold it last year at the beginning of COVID.
So then you will do roast battle, which they do. Where would they do it? Did they do it at the Comedy Store, and they would do it at Laugh Factory? Like, would they?
Oh yeah, it started at the Comedy Store in the belly room upstairs. It was so much fun when it started too.
Yeah, it sounds nerve-wracking. I've never done it. Have you ever participated in it?
No, it's more for the newer comics, you know.
Right.
But they get brutal, and I love it. Like fucking evil shit. I was like, oh my god, that's amazing.
Well, what's the language? So I don't know where they want to air this.
It's only going to be in English. That's all I can speak.
All right, but I just mean in terms of the fuck this and shit and motherfucker. And all
they
that.
they say you can go for it over here.
Yeah, you know
it's going to be. They're going all in. They said balls deep.
You know what's weird is I always say like sort of apparently there's no rules. Like it's like they go. Remember 5 years it was take your shoes off when you go through the airport, and now you go through and the guy's like, go leave your shoes on. You know, I'd have it with ball caps. I would fly oftentimes and wear a ball cap. Russell does as well. For 5 years, they're like, take the hat off. And then at some point, they were like, why are you taking your hat off? Put your hat on. So there's no rules. And I was like watching CNN this morning. I was watching Fox this morning. They were doing the Chauvin trial. And it was just shit, fuck, shit, what the fuck? And all it was.
They're letting it all go?
Yeah, they let it all go. They let it all go. And all they do is they go, there's going to be some language, and then they just do it. And it's like, okay, well, then evidently you can do that whenever you want, I guess. It's all self-imposed. So in Canada, so this is going to air in Canada. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, if it's really good, it'll air in the U.S., but I don't know how good it's going to get. You know what I mean? That's how Canadian TV is. It'll air here, and if it's really good, we'll send it to the States. You know, like look at Kids in the Hall. It aired
that's
here.
exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah. SCTV, Kids in the Hall, Schitt's Creek, Trailer Park Boys, Letterkenny, all the shows that were really good here got shipped over to the States.
Are you going to bring the comedians in from the United States, or they're all going to be local Canadians?
Going to be all Canadian ones. And the thing is, they're not a notoriously like mean bunch. So that I'm curious to see how it's going to go, especially having seen how incredibly mean it can get. And I love when it gets mean. Yeah.
The whole thing about Canadians is they're really nice people, and the 2% who are assholes, they just make them border guards. They just put them at the airport. They just really pluck out like the 5 leading assholes from every graduating class, and they send them over to do customs enforcement, because that's you deal with the worst people in the world are the Canadian customs people, and then once you get through those people, then the rest of the place is wide open and friendly. So it's interesting. It's interesting, like culturally. Here's an interesting thought. You know, my thought about like the Japanese culture. You know, it's all bowing until it turns into bukkake. Do you know what I'm saying?
I mean, you can still bow at the bukkake.
Well, it becomes ducking at that point. You're ducking. But what I'm saying is they're so buttoned down. Of course, it's the birthplace of bukkake. You know, because when you get too buttoned down, we have it here with Salt Lake City. You know what I mean? Like I've never seen more tattoos or piercings. But so the question is Canadians are nice. Maybe they'll go nuts. Maybe they'll go full bukkake on the roast.
I mean, that's what we're hoping for, you know. You know, I always say the Japanese and the Germans, the Japanese are the Germans of Asia. Because you think about it, they have a weird fucking war history. They make great cars, and they're into weird sexual fetishes. Mm-hmm. And now they're all about respect.
So hopefully the Canadians you'll skim the cream off the top of the nice kettle, and you'll get the ones wanting to go fully insane.
Yeah, I want it to get ugly. Like I did a roast here maybe about 7 years ago for a friend of mine, DJ friend of mine. And he wanted to be roasted. And I was like, can I go for it? He was like, I want you to do it the way you're going to do it. I go, it's going to be real. Feelings are going to be hurt. And he goes, yeah, he didn't talk to me for like 4 months after.
That's how you know you did a good job.
Congratulations.
Even I was like, I must have done a really good job because I went in on him, his wife. I went in on all the other guys on the podium, and everybody else just like really lame stuff. I'm like, really, dude? I just called you all kinds of dumb shit,
Well, it's interesting. It's an insight if you've participated in roasts as I have. It's not necessarily an insight into who you are, but it's certainly an insight to what other people think you are. Which is probably more important than who you think you are. So
yeah, who you think you are is irrelevant.
It kind of is. Yeah, it's like
you
saying,
really don't have any say in this matter.
Did you? But you've never done any of the roasts, like the Comedy Central roasts out here, have you?
No, I was trying for years. I kept asking and asking. Even Jeff Ross was asking for me, and they just weren't having me for some reason. I was so close to doing the Bieber roast, and I had all these jokes written, and then they picked somebody else.
They probably profiled. They said he's Canadian. He's going to go easy on the guy.
Yeah, I was so not going to go easy too, and then I was supposed to roast Harvey Weinstein at the Friars Club, and then I don't know if you heard, but he got tied up for a little while.
Really?
So,
What?
Yeah,
What?
Yeah. Yeah. So that didn't.
No, I hope he's okay.
I'll see what I can find for the news.
We should send him a fern or something.
Yeah, or bonsai. God, he'd make short work of a bonsai tree. So you were, and is it? I don't know. Is this a safe statement? I think when you're kind of on the way up, then doing a roast on Comedy Central's kind of a gift. Like, oh, that's going to help my career. And then at a certain point, you might pass it. Like you might be a little too popular or too successful. I don't mean too successful, too popular, but like, I don't know. You couldn't get Jerry Seinfeld to do a roast, just to be one of the roasters or whatever.
He'd be so clean, you know what I mean?
But I just mean he doesn't.
With your own
he doesn't
matching song.
He doesn't need it in his
Punchline
career.
doesn't match your setup. I don't want to hear that shit.
I don't know if there's I should talk to Jeff and ask him. Jeff Ross, that is. I don't know if there's other roasts being planned.
The best thing about roast is it lets you flex your other muscle. Like, here's what I do, and here's what else I can do.
Yeah, it's also it's a lot easier now than it used to be. It used to be just this scatter shot. Nobody knows anyone else's jokes. Just everyone go up there and just run through your cards, and everyone would do everyone else's jokes, and it was a total free-for-all. And now they've kind of worked it out. Like they have an order, they have a teleprompter. They'll tell you if other people are doing a joke that's similar to that joke. It was like going before you. Like they have worked it out a little bit, and it's a lot. Show up, you do a rehearsal. Like not with everybody, but you go up there and do like a prompter reading and stuff like that. Like it's a lot more dialed in. It used to be just show up, bring a bunch of 3x5 cards and just fucking have at it. And they would go on for, 7 hours because Dick Gregory would talk about the civil rights movement for 45 minutes instead of being funny. He's a hero.
You didn't want to hear about
it? No, because I had to pee. And I get it.
You don't want to look like a racist with your penis?
Yeah, I didn't want to have to get up and leave in the middle of him talking about civil rights.
Yeah, my racist bladder.
I think that was for Hugh Hefner's roast. I think I've done Alec Baldwin, Hugh Hefner, and
Courtney Love.
Pam Anderson.
Oh,
Pam Anderson.
Courtney Love was there. And everyone remembers her better because it's a good shrapnel.
It turned, she got fragged.
You're right. She
Yeah.
was.
It turned into a Courtney Love roast, which is something you have to be careful about.
She brought that on herself. I actually got to go to that roast, and I just remember like everything having to stop down every few minutes because Courtney was throwing a shoe. Courtney was screaming.
Yeah, she could have been drunk. So, Russell, are you playing gigs? Are you talking about touring? What about internationally? Like, what's the schedule when you're done doing the roast battle?
Well, then I'll come back. I'll do the road. I'll continue doing the road. I'm just doing clubs right now because you got to build your hour and a half back up, make sure it's tight. So, the clubs is the gym and the tour is the title defense.
I like the boxing analogy. Did you watch UFC last weekend?
I did. I saw that. It's funny for Stipe. It's funny about Stipe is he has one good fight, one bad fight, one good fight, one bad fight. So now the problem is because he got knocked out, Cormier is going to go, hey, we should have another fight. But that's the problem is he's coming off a bad fight, which means he's going to have a good fight next.
There was a heavyweight UFC battle with Francis Ngannou, who's this like crazy man. He's 6'4", 265, 5% body fat, and he's a crazy. I think his nickname is Predator or something. He looks like Predator from the Schwarzenegger movie, and Stipe beat him the first fight, but that was like 3 years ago, and he's obviously improved his game since then.
Ngannou was not ready that first fight.
No, which is it's an interesting thing. So I told you guys, one guy, Stipe, looks like just a big dude, big white dude, but he's got a little dad bod, not flabby or anything. But the other guy's a brick shithouse, and he looks like a destroying machine. And about 3 years ago, I got some like insider Vegas news of like, you got to go with Francis. And I was like, just because he looks like that with his shirt off, it doesn't mean he's seasoned enough, because it's you got to be well-rounded. And he wasn't. And Stipe beat him, but 3 years later, he worked on his grappling, he worked on his wrestling, he was patient, he worked on all his stuff, and he knocked Stipe out. And now they think John Jones, the guy who's basically the GOAT of UFC, who's never lost. He lost one. Actually,
it's a bullshit loss.
Yeah, you're actually more badass if you're like 26-1 and you go, what about the one? Oh, I knocked the guy out with an elbow, but the guy said it was illegal. So you're more badass than being 27-0.
Yeah, it's true.
So he's unbeaten, and now he's talking about moving up to heavyweight. I'm curious, you follow it. What do you think, Russell?
There's videos of John Jones now working out. He's fucking huge.
Right.
Him and his brothers are all professional football players, aren't they? His two brothers are both playing the NFL.
Yeah, Brian, his brother was on the 49ers, I think.
Yeah, Brent Jones, he's a tight end. He was really good.
Different Jones,
titles.
different color, different guy, different era.
This is a black one.
I think that's his black brother. I think he was on San Francisco, but maybe the Panthers or something. But anyway, that
was the Black Panthers. His parents were.
That would be a huge fight. That would be an awesome fight.
That would be, because I think Jones is way more skilled than Ngannou. Ngannou's a big, strong guy, but I see him being very beatable if you can stay away from his paws.
Yeah, Chandler is on Arizona. By the way, the John Jones' brothers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, there's probably about a dozen Joneses in the NFL.
Yes.
I didn't
It's hard
know
to
Chandler's brother.
keep up with the Joneses.
His older brothers, Arthur, Chris says, on the Redskins. I don't know that franchise. Are you talking about the Washington football team?
Yeah.
Okay, now it's coming together. Yeah, he has an insanely athletic family, and nothing beats athletic. I mean, all the muscles in the world and all the training and all the tough guy and the tough chin and all that stuff. When you're just gifted and athletically gifted, it's really hard to beat those guys.
It's true. Michael Jai White was training up. He went and trained with John Jones in New Mexico a few months ago. And Michael was at my house. He showed me some of the training videos. I got to be honest with you, Michael showed John Jones a lot of things. And Michael's 53 years old.
He's a bad mofo, right, Michael?
He's a bad motherfucker. That guy. He knows a lot of different fight techniques, and he was showing John Jones all kinds of stuff. John was like, John, just move your hand when you see my punch coming. And pop, and they would hit him every time. He's like, I said, move your hand, and John Jones couldn't get his hand out of the way fast enough.
What's he doing? What's Michael doing?
Acting, producing, directing, writing.
Yeah, but besides writing, acting, producing, and directing, what's he really doing?
Well, he also likes to take long walks.
All right, you want to, let's see what I got here. You want to hang out and do news with us, Russell?
Yeah, whatever. Gina, you going to do some news?
Let's do it. Yeah.
All right, let me hit.
What's your last name again, Gina?
Grad.
That's it?
That's it. Never shortened. We don't even have that. We don't have that Ellis Island paperwork.
Oh, never shortened from grad.
Never shortened. No.
Most your kind does that.
I know.
Yeah.
It's not Uation?
Refreshing.
Well, there's Stalingrad, Leningrad, Belgrade, but we don't have that paperwork.
All right, let me hit ZipRecruiter, then we'll get into some news. Hiring for spring. Maybe you need someone to wear many hats, or you got a simple position to fill. Wherever it is, you got to go with ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find qualified candidates fast, and now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/Adam. Whether you need to hire a nurse in Nebraska, an attorney in Alabama, or even a mascot in Missouri, you always go with ZipRecruiter. Their ZipRecruiter's matching technology finds people with the right experience for your job and actively invites them to apply. It's so effective that 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day, right, Dawson?
From accountant to zoologist and everything in between, ZipRecruiter makes hiring easier. And right now you can try for free at our Only Our Listeners Get It link. ZipRecruiter.com/Adam. If you go to ZipRecruiter.com/Adam today and try ZipRecruiter for free, we get credit for sending you. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/ADAM.
All right, take a quick break. Come back with Russell Peters and the news right after this.
Give me the news with Grad. News with Gina Grad. Breaking, viral, weird crime, protest, politics. Give me news with Gina Grad. Stuff they saw on TMZ. Joe Biden, Kamala. Beat news with Gina Grad.
The news with Gina Grad.
So this is how good I am at predicting stuff. The one time I decide to say, this boat's not moving, let's talk about it. Of course, we all get an alert this morning. The boat is unstuck. That ship blocking the Suez Canal has been fully dislodged as of Monday afternoon. Tugs were working to free the bow of the ship after dislodging the stern. Marine traffic website showed images of the ship away from the banks of the Suez Canal for the first time in a week. Officials in Egypt said over the weekend that massive container ship had been blocking the whole Suez Canal, may have run aground due to human error, not a windstorm. Chairman Osama Robi said there may have been some technical or human errors. All of these factors will become apparent in the investigation. He didn't provide any specifics, but somebody's going to get in a little bit of trouble for this.
When I was a kid, tugboats were a big thing.
Yeah.
It was like they were exciting when you were a kid. I don't know why. They're kind of crappy boats, but there's something about a tugboat that seemed really enticing when I was 8 years old. I'm kind of over it now. I don't devote much of my day to tugboat talk, but when I was a kid, it was tugboats, man. I don't know. Are kids into tugboats?
I don't know. I don't think they even know what a tugboat is. You should do a tug talk.
Yeah.
Tug talk?
Yeah.
I should do it. Tug talk.
Keep it tight.
You have kids, right, Russell?
I got 2, buddy.
Are they into tugboats?
Well, my daughter is 10. My son's 2.
Oh, all right.
He's into Roblox. And my son's into running around.
Right. Mm-hmm. All right. Still time. Sorry, Gina.
They're before and after the tug block window. So Woody Allen is speaking out, and I will say
hey, can I say this? About you want to be a tugboat captain. And I'll tell you why.
You do?
Well, I've always told you worst job in the world is mover, right? Because nobody ever walks into a house and goes, wow, who put this shit here? They just walk into a house and they walk to the coffee table. It's got a chip in the side of it. And they go, what happened? The fucking movers. You could move an entire mansion into another mansion 10 miles away. No one's ever impressed. You know what I mean? Like, no one ever talks about great job of sofa placement, but you ding one piece of furniture and it's a fucking disaster. So then they talk about, this is why I want to be a tugboat captain. Because you can't, there's no bad tugboat captain. Like, either the fucking tugboat pulls the thing out or it doesn't pull the thing out. No one's ever going to blame the captain. Right. Like, if that thing was still wedged in the Suez Canal, we'd go, I bet it's because those captains suck. It'd just be because it's too much sand or it couldn't do it. So now
you don't blame the tugboat. Yeah.
You're a hero if you get it moving. If you can't, nobody has. And by the way, people have follow-up tugboat questions.
No.
What kind of fuel were you running?
The only one who's ever going to know to that point is another tugboat captain,
That's
of which
right.
How many are there in the world? You know,
never
he's not going to tell someone at a party like, oh, that guy sucked. He got it all right. Boring.
Right. Unless it's a convention, you're never going to run into another tugboat
captain.
captain.
Rare instance.
I want to know who Michael Jordan of tugboats is, really.
Oh, yeah. There's got to be somebody out there. Well, this is what I love when they make movies where they go, that guy's the best, until he ran that cruise liner aground in 81 and he's never got back in the wheelhouse. Yeah.
Never been the same.
But we got to bring him out of retirement for one last mission. Sorry, Gina.
Adam you probably have thoughts on who the best tug job captain is.
Hello.
Wow.
Thank you. So terrible segue. So Woody Allen, he's denied sexually abusing his daughter, Dylan Farrow. This time, the director addressed the allegations in an interview on CBS Sunday Morning. So this was a sit-down that was taped in July. This is several months before the recent docuseries on HBO, Allen versus Farrow, that does explore the allegations and has renewed interest in the case, a case that's, 25 years old. And we have a couple of quotes from him. CBS says this was Allen's first in-depth on-camera American interview in nearly 30 years. So here's the first quote from Woody.
It's so preposterous, and yet the smear has remained, and they still prefer to cling to, if not the notion that I molested Dylan, the possibility that I molested her. Nothing that I ever did with Dylan in my life could be misconstrued as that.
Well, let me just stop down on that first quote because you watched it, Adam. I don't know, Russell, if you saw it. I'm also listening to the companion podcast.
Oh, the series. Well, here's the problem. I did put it into my DVR, and I got 2 episodes, but then the other 2, were there 4 parts?
4.
The other 2 were in Spanish. I'm sorry. I don't want to sound like a Trump-loving American here, but someone's got to straighten out that fucking TiVo. Because lots of times I will sign up for record this show, but they do a Spanish language version of it too, and it'll just grab that one. So it was in Spanish. So
slightly harder for you to understand.
I'm also trying to figure out if it's still running or what it is. So I'm 2 episodes off.
Well, here's the thing. I think that it sounds like he readily admitted in this, in the documentation they have that, he's like, well, he was getting help. And he was proud of saying, like, I'm getting help for this. I don't understand boundaries. So saying that I don't know how this could have ever been misconstrued is not true. And, oh, by the way, you did end up essentially marrying your daughter. So saying I don't know how this could have ever been misconstrued is a little intellectually dishonest, as you might say.
Well, that it is kind of the problem with marrying your adopted daughter, which is kind of leaves the door open to other possibilities involving character.
Correct.
That's also part of the Adopt a Wife program.
And her name is not, God, what's her name?
Sunni.
Sunni.
Yeah, but they don't say Sunni in the doc.
Sunni.
They say Sunni in the doc.
Oh.
That's
Sunni
what I've
because she's Muslim.
That's what I've learned.
And here is just this quick clip of him referring to Dylan.
She was a good kid, and I believe she thinks it. I do not believe that she's that she's making it up. I don't believe she's lying. I believe she believes that.
Yeah. Well, we're living in a weird world now where, I mean, when I grew up, it'd just be like, we have an eyewitness. We have proof positive,
Right.
you know? And if somebody said I was molested or I saw this guy walk into the bank, like it was just done. And now we're not living in that world anymore.
But we were also living in a weird world then, because it was easy for, the darling of the movie industry to say that woman's scorned and crazy and she doesn't know what she's talking about. And then it was over. So
Right.
it was a different world then as well. So it's interesting that this is coming back up. Speaking of, I guess, scorned and possibly crazy, TMZ reports that Vanessa Bryant has asked a judge to give her mom the boot in this lawsuit to win this lifetime support. This lawsuit's still going on. Vanessa's mom, Sophia Lane, has filed a lawsuit against Kobe's estate, claiming Kobe promised to take care of her financially for the rest of her life. But in old court documents, they're digging up a little dirt on Sophia. Sophia's ex-husband claimed he should not have to pay her because she was supported by Kobe and Vanessa. Sophia fired back that her daughter and son-in-law had no obligation to support her, and whatever they gave her was simply out of the goodness of their heart. But this is where the word mom and grandma becomes a little dicey. Sophia says that Vanessa and Kobe violated California labor laws by not giving her meal breaks, rest periods, and giving her minimum wage for babysitting services. And Vanessa's like, you're the grandma? You weren't an employee? She was a grandmother who at times helped her son and daughter by spending time with her grandchildren. And Vanessa's legal team argues in order for Sophia to go after Kobe's estate, she had to file a creditor's claim within a year of his death, and she didn't. So hopefully, this sounds like it may get dismissed, I would think. I wonder what Garrigus says about that.
I'll ask him. It's so sad how money just turns everything to shit.
It's crazy. She's saying she didn't get meal breaks and like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were coming over to the birthday party because you were the grandparent and wanted to be here.
Yeah, well, I know all about that.
Did you know Kobe at all? Did you meet him? Did you hang out?
I mean, I know about it because I'm going through a custody thing with my son's mother.
No, I get that, but I'm still asking. Did you ever hang?
I never got to meet him. However, the day that happened, I had just landed and I was driving up the 101 because I lived in Calabasas at the time. And I got home, took a shower, got in bed, put on the news, and it said helicopter crash in Calabasas. And then I felt a helicopter go over my house really low, like a rescue copter, shook my entire house. I was like, the hell? So I got up and looked out my balcony. I could see the plume of smoke. Wow. So it was like right close to me. Yeah. That's as close as I've come to Kobe. And then Japanese.
Is there, it's so sad. And by the way, I don't know, isn't there enough? I mean, there's so much money there, right? I mean,
couldn't the mom or grandma just hang out and like kind of, babysit?
Yeah, just play cool.
Yeah.
Play cool. I'm sure
be a good grandma.
Yeah, and they're living in 14,000 square foot with a full size basketball court, like in the basement. I'm sure. Just be cool, grandma. Let's hang out.
Yeah, wait on the bench.
It's so, most of life's vexing problems could be solved with just fucking buy some donuts and show up and be decent. You'll be fine. Go hug your daughter. Tell her it's a difficult time. You know what I mean? Hang out in the gourmet kitchen.
She seems to be forgetting she lost a granddaughter in that thing, too.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. All right, what else?
It's not that she
lost
Kobe and his money.
Right.
Well, I thought about Adam's March Madness, and I thought you might have some thoughts about this. Week 7 of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's fan vote is kind of shaping up, and I'm going to give you the list. I'm just going to rattle through the top 16 from least votes to most votes. This is over 3 million votes cast for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
How many get inducted? As
many as make the cut.
Yeah, but where's the cut? I mean,
I don't know if they're public with that. Like the Baseball Hall of Fame, if you get like 75% or something, whatever the number is.
So there's like 16 nominees, but you can look it up, Max Pata. I'm like, how many normally? Is it normally like 16 are nominated and between 8 and 12 make it in every year? Or is it that kind of thing?
Six or 8, and then a couple of veterans, the Veterans Committee.
Right.
They do make some odd choices in that thing, though.
Oh, my God. Yes, they do. Well, tell me. Go ahead, Gina.
This is the fan vote. This is open until April 30th, and the class of 2021. Yeah, you do get a say. Apparently, it is a weighted vote from the fans. The induction ceremony will be at the end of October. So I'm just going to rattle these off real quick. Jay-Z, LL Cool J, Mary J. Blige, New York Dolls, Shaka Khan.
Hold on. Are we in any order here?
This is from least votes of the 16 to the most votes.
Oh, okay. All right, good. New York Dolls. Fuck them. I hate all that artsy bullshit.
Free Kiss.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kate Bush, Shaka Khan, Rage Against the Machine, Dionne Warwick, Devo, Todd Rundgren, Carole King, Foo Fighters, Iron Maiden, The Go-Go's, Tina Turner, and Fela Kuti. Number 1.
Fela Kuti is a Nigerian jazz musician.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Him and his son Femi. They're actually pretty.
364,000 votes for Fela Kuti, 85,000 for Jay-Z. That's the spread.
Yeah.
Rage Against the Machine is so low.
Yeah, to number 10.
I'm surprised Rage Against the Machine, Jay-Z, and Mary J. Blige are on that list right now.
Well, they've opened it up.
To me, they're too new.
To everything now. I hope Devo, look, if Devo makes it in, then everyone in there, it's null and void. Devo's a horrible novelty 80s stupid band.
One song.
With one song that isn't even good.
They're still humping the same act. I saw them in a K-Rock event in 2002, and they're doing the red hats or the planters, or whatever they are.
Right.
What else are they going to do?
That's a good point. It ranges. It's about 5 or 6 in the last few years. So says Max Pata to get in.
Okay, so if it was 6, that would be Carole King. If we're going by this list, Carole King, Foo Fighters, Iron Maiden, The Go-Go's, Tina Turner, and Fela Kuti. That's not bad.
I saw the Tina Turner doc that was on HBO.
And
looking forward to it.
Yeah. Look, all docs. All docs are great, and this one's about Tina Turner, and her life was fucking crazy.
Crazy story.
Item A.
Yeah, I would.
do feel like the Foo Fighters can wait. Just saying.
I would encourage all wives to watch that documentary, because it's like, we were just driving back from the show, and we're in the back of the limousine, and Ike just punched me for no reason. He just reach across and punch her. And they'd come home, and he'd be like, okay, where's my coat hanger? Hey, kids, I'm going to shut the door. I have to beat your mom now. It's just...
Somebody grab that.
Just beat her up all the fucking time, and didn't have to be for anything. And so, and she said, kind of interesting, thoughtful person, and Ike, just fucking Ike, just smacking on her all over the place. And then at some point, she just kind of made her escape, which is an interesting story. And then when she got out of the band, I mean, she was nobody. And then she was just doing cabarets and stuff. She was doing Vegas review shit, super schmaltzy stuff where they covered songs and had the backup dancers. And she had nothing going on.
People throw comeback around it a lot. She had a true comeback.
Yeah, big time. It's a good doc. It's good, worth a watch.
I think Brian's mentioned this before. The doc I watched recently that I highly recommend, Crip Camp.
Yeah, solid. Up for the Oscar this year.
Really, really great. It's on HBO or HBO Max or whatever the hell they call it now. But it's really amazing about this camp for disabled kids in the 70s. It's really amazing. TMZ reports that you can own some Notorious BIG history in the form of a hubcap if you're interested. The folks over at Moments in Time are brokering the sale of one of the 4 hubcaps from the infamous GMC Suburban Biggie was riding in when he was gunned gunned down in 1997 right in front of that LA's Peterson Automotive Museum, which we've done shows at.
I know.
TMZ says
I was freaked out because I was like, one of those bullets almost hit a car.
Jesus.
Well, I'm just a car guy, you know.
You're a
I'm
big
not,
car
I'm not
guy.
in the rap scene, but
I
I do
understand.
love vintage automobiles. So
It makes sense. TMZ says the seller originally got the hubcap from a family friend who owned the rental company, which owned the SUV. The asking price for the single hubcap, $150,000.
Get the fuck out of here.
It still has a sticker on it that says "Think Big," think BIG. March 25th, 97. That's when the album's release date was, and the murder case still open, by the way, still an open investigation.
Well, let's talk about that. First off, we should all pool our money and go for the 5th hubcap from the Space Saver Spare. But the notion that Tupac was right in the middle of the strip of Las Vegas. So right in the middle of Las Vegas. We don't know who that guy was, right? And then anyone who knows Los Angeles, the Peterson is just right in the middle of Los Angeles.
Yep. Miracle
Not
Mile.
a freeway to be found.
It's a long ride back to the hood or to a freeway or anywhere. I do not know how both of those, I mean, can you imagine how much video surveillance we would have of each one of those if it was done today?
High def.
You'd be able to follow that car as it passed every Ring doorbell all the way back to from whence it came. Like, it's just gone. I mean, I guess they're always thinking the cops were in on it and stuff like that. Did you guys hear those theories?
It makes
Yeah, there
sense.
was the cover.
Yeah, theories that the case
Gangbangers
didn't
that
want
were
to be
cops.
solved.
Yeah. I don't know. What you got any thoughts, Russell?
Well, through my street connections, as I am a little intertwined in the dark side of the world as well. I heard that the guy who killed Tupac got killed maybe a week later.
Interesting.
That was the guy. Apparently, the guy that they beat up in the casino was the guy that got him, that killed Tupac.
Well, first off, it 1,000% makes sense because this is my OJ theory, which is, let's just say OJ was completely innocent and you, in fact, were the guy who committed that murder. You don't think you'd get drunk and tell a prostitute by now? Like, you know that guy would have to say something to a prison mate or a cellmate or something, right? If you're the guy who killed Tupac, you just been biting your tongue for 23 years or whatever the hell, 28 years or whatever the hell it's been. Like, you'd have to have said something. There would be some widow who said, you know, he told me, he confessed before. Like, you'd have to, those people it either has to be OJ who did it or somebody kills the guy who did it a week later. Like,
yeah, I think that's what happened. If OJ didn't do it, he killed the guy that did do it for him.
All right, let's do. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Gina.
I was just thinking that's very I've been watching The Sopranos again, so we're on lucky number 25 of viewings, but that's very like mob justice. Like, they don't want to take it to the police, they'll take care of it, and then, you know, they'll get on with their lives. So if that's in fact what happened. Lil Nas, rapper and singer Lil Nas X, launched a controversial pair of Satan shoes featuring a bronze pentagram, an inverted cross, and a drop of real human blood. And they sold out immediately, according to CNN. I think we have a picture of it. The black and red sneakers are made using Nike Air Max 97s. And the sportswear company Nike has nothing to do with this. They do not endorse them. The limited edition drop of 666
Their logo's
pairs.
on the shoe.
Yep, but they're, you know, it's like a modified, 666 pairs sold out in less than a minute. They're priced at $1,018 because it's a reference to the Bible passage, Luke 10:18, that reads, "I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven." Each shoe's air bubble sole apparently contains about 2 ounces of red ink and 1 drop of human blood.
Should be goat's blood, right?
It'd be
It's
nice.
human blood.
Also,
remember when Kiss did that with their comic book?
I say this is so passe. Like, aren't we decades past the satanic?
Also, it's got to be weird.
No.
For like,
They sold out in less than a minute.
How'd you get hepatitis again? My shoe exploded. So it's going to
Hepatitis
confuse
and bunions.
people. Yeah. I literally had this conversation with my son last night. Like, this is I felt like the oldest person ever living on the planet. It's like, Lil Nas? Not really. He's a gay rapper. Good for him. He's got a tennis shoe coming out. Okay. Fantastic. Let's get some more nachos. I can't keep up. Everyone's got a fucking tennis shoe. It's limited. Evidently, no, they talk about this country and like the haves and the have-nots, and there's a chasm financially between this, the top 1% and the bottom. Evidently, we have all the money in the world for tennis shoes. That much I will say about this country. When Kanye drops one of his hizzies or whatever he's got going on, what's Kanye's shoe? Yeezys.
No, Hizzy Fits.
Hizzy Fits. When he drops one of those, they're $3,000 that people just wait in line around the block, and it doesn't look like rich people either. It's just some people have cash for sneakers, and I would argue that means we're doing better than most countries. Yes, Brian.
Which begs the question, when are we getting Ace 'em Ups, the Adam Carolla shoe?
That's right. With one single tear in that in the heel. All right, let's bring it home, Gina Grad.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
Gina Grad.
That was the news with Gina Grad.
All right. Last but not least, there's Geico. Do you own, do you rent? Well, you do one or the other. How about you bundle up that homeowner's insurance or renter's insurance along with your automotive insurance at Geico? It's a good thing, too. You got enough to do around the house already. Geico makes it easy to get your bundle going. So you go to geico.com, you get a quote, you see just how much you could save when you get your bundle on with Geico. That is geico.com. Russell has got a pod.
Adam.
Yeah, I'm going to give your pod a plug. Culturally Canceled. It's available now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify as well. And then the stand-up special, Russell Peters Deported, and that's available on Amazon Prime. We're going to be in Nashville doing a live podcast April 14th, so at Zany's, so you guys can come out, hang out for that if you like. And you can check out Brittany's show, Paradise City, and her pod as well, Worst First, with Brittany Furlan as well. And last but not least, one more, Simply Safe, just 15 seconds. You got 30 minutes. Well, you never have to worry about break-ins ever again. Just go to simplysafe.com/Adam, choose the exact sensors you need, and get the help you need from their experts. Shows up at your house in about a week. Get it all set up, and you get a free security camera when you go to simplysafe.com/Adam. So, thank you, Russell, for joining us today.
Thanks, Adam. Thanks, Gina. Thanks, BB.
Have fun in quarantine. And until next time, this is Adam for Brittany and Russell and Gina and Bald saying, Mahala.